I want you to picture a scene, and I want you to be ruthlessly honest with yourself about just how familiar this feels.
Oh, I already know this is going to hit close to home.
Right. Okay, so the alarm goes off, the room is still completely dark, and before your feet even touch the floor, like before you fully register what day it is or how your body actually feels, your thumb is already moving across the glass of your phone.
Yep. The immediate reflex.
Exactly. You're scrolling through this endless carousel of life hacks.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a 5-minute morning routine to completely rewire your brain, or some atomic habit for exponential growth, or, a highly specific sleep optimization protocol.
And you hit save.
You hit save. And in that precise moment, you get this little flicker of relief, not because you actually did the thing, but because, well, you acquired the blueprint.
Right, you've got the talisman securely tucked into your digital pocket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You tell yourself, tomorrow is the day I implement this. Only, tomorrow becomes this foreign country where you just keep indefinitely postponing your citizenship.
It's always tomorrow.
Always. So welcome to today's deep dive. We are synthesizing our own notes, a bunch of psychological research, and some really sharp cultural observations to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Our mission today is to decode the hidden psychology, the subconscious machinery that is driving our absolute obsession with life hacking.
And it is a deeply, deeply recognizable modern ritual. To truly decode it, I want to propose a radical, maybe slightly unsettling idea right out of the gate.
Okay, lay it on me.
What if the very tools you are using to quote-unquote optimize your life are not actually bridges connecting you to reality? What if, in fact, they are these elegant, meticulously constructed barricades designed to totally shield you from it?
Oh, wow. Okay, barricades. I mean, if we look at the contemporary productivity aesthete, and you listening probably know this person, or let's be real, you secretly are this person, their digital life is a fortress.
A total fortress.
Like their Notion dashboard is essentially a cathedral of intentionality. It's color-coded, it's cross-referenced with the kind of devotion people used to reserve for, like, ancient religious texts.
Yeah, the calendar is this beautiful mosaic of time block virtue. You've got your deep work sessions here, your mindfulness intervals there.
Strategic recovery periods, and they might be swallowing, a stack of nootropics, those cognitive enhancing supplements, just to chemically force their brain into this state of hyperfocus.
Right, because we've taken the ancient, messy, completely unpredictable struggle of human existence and reframed it entirely as a technical problem.
Like consciousness is just poorly written software.
Exactly, like it just needs a patch. We are treating existential conditions as bugs in our operating system. And what's fascinating here is the paradox at the heart of this behavior.
Which is what?
Well, the more tools we accumulate to manage our reality, the more reality actually recedes behind this thick veil of preparation. We become these connoisseurs of potentiality.
Connoisseurs of potentiality, I like that.
Right. We are curating these absolutely perfect futures that never actually arrive because, well, we're simply too busy optimizing the very conditions required for their arrival.
Yeah, no, it feels exactly like spending your entire day sitting in the captain's chair, just intensely configuring the cockpit. Checking the dials, adjusting the altitude sensors.
All while the plane remains firmly parked at the gate.
Firmly parked.
Yeah.
But, okay, I need to challenge this premise a bit because I don't know exactly what you listening might be thinking right now.
Let's hear it.
Isn't this just a harmless or even noble desire for personal growth? Like, I genuinely want to be the CEO of my own life. I want to minimize my errors and maximize my output. How is wanting efficiency and structure a barricade against reality?
I love that you use that phrase. If we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to look really closely at the language you just used. You want to be the CEO of your life.
Right.
Just listen to the vocabulary of the whole life hacking movement. Leverage, hack, optimize, systemize.
Yeah, it's very court.
It is. These are not words of human encounter or vulnerability. They are words of domination and extraction. They position the self not as an active, breathing participant in the messy flow of life, but as this detached manager negotiating with unruly departments.
Like the emotion department.
Exactly. The emotion department, your body department, your relationships. And when you frame your existence that way, I mean, this isn't genuine growth. It is a highly sophisticated, culturally sanctioned form of resistance. The hack actually becomes a substitute for the experience it promises to enable.
Right. So reading a really comprehensive book about how to have profound, empathetic conversations basically replaces the terrifying vulnerability of actually sitting down with someone and risking saying the wrong thing.
Precisely. Or studying these rigorous frameworks for creativity. It just becomes a ritual that successfully postpones the sheer terror of staring at a blank page.
Oh man, the blank page.
Yeah. And this brings us to this pervasive phenomenon of productivity guilt.
Which is the worst.
It really is. It's this peculiar modern shame where you aren't even allowed to experience inefficient idleness anymore. You can't just rest.
No, you must rest strategically to maximize tomorrow's output.
Right. You can't just scroll social media. You have to aggressively curate your feed for inspiration. We have basically internalized the factory whistle into our very souls.
Okay, so if this isn't actually progress, and it is all just this elaborate resistance, let's look at the psychological machinery underneath it. Because if we put on our modern Freudian glasses and look at a smartphone screen, we aren't just seeing a clean user interface.
Oh no, we are seeing resistance wearing a lab coat.
A lab coat.
Yeah. If you were to hand your unlocked phone to a modern psychoanalyst, they wouldn't care about the pastel gradients or the minimalist typography of your habit tracking app. They would look straight into the psychic economy humming beneath it.
So what are they seeing?
For instance, let's break down projection. This is a classic defense mechanism where we eject our internal, completely unmanageable chaos onto the external world, and then we heroically set about fixing the projection.
Okay, let me try to map this out. Let's say I'm feeling completely untethered in my career. Like I'm having a fundamental crisis of direction, which is terrifying to hold.
Extremely terrifying.
So instead of sitting with that terror, my psyche projects that massive formless anxiety onto like my cluttered email inbox.
Exactly. Boom. Suddenly the narrative your brain tells you is, I'm not having an existential dilemma. I just have a failure and goal-setting methodology.
Wow.
You convince yourself that if you can just achieve inbox zero, or if your project management dashboard hits perfect geometric order, your internal chaos will miraculously resolve itself.
But it won't.
No, it is magical thinking dressed up in Silicon Valley aesthetics.
Okay, but if it's magical thinking, then the sheer amount of energy we pour into it makes total sense.
Yeah.
I mean, building those elaborate interconnected dashboards takes an intense, almost obsessive amount of drive. Like, people spend hours on this.
And that is exactly where sublimation and displacement come in. Let's look at the psychological and biological mechanics here. In psychoanalysis, libido isn't just sexual desire, it's the psychic energy of wanting, of reaching out toward life.
Okay.
In a healthy state, that energy flows toward genuine connection, creation, and meaning. But direct contact with those things is incredibly risky.
Because you might be rejected, you might fail.
Right. Your nervous system perceives that risk as a literal threat. So the psyche performs this brilliant maneuver. It redirects that intense libidinal energy into socially acceptable, significantly safer channels.
So when I spend, say, 4 hours color coding a project tracker for a side hustle that I haven't even launched yet,
Yes.
my brain is getting a dopamine hit that mimics the neurochemical reward of actual creation. I'm tricking my nervous system into feeling productive while completely bypassing the risk of the market actually rejecting my idea.
Spot on. The energy's still there, but it's circling the runway instead of landing. We aren't creating, we are curating the conditions for creation.
Curating the conditions.
Yeah. And this manifests in what Freud would instantly recognize as obsessive neurotic rituals. Historically, the obsessive neurotic might, touch a doorframe 7 times to ward off the underlying anxiety of a chaotic universe.
Right, to feel safe.
The function is just to establish an illusion of control. Today, we've just upgraded the ritual. Now it's time blocking. Or checking our analytics dashboards 12 times a day.
Or setting a Pomodoro timer to enforce exactly 25 minutes of focus and 5 minutes of rest.
Exactly. The underlying structure is identical. You are creating a rigid, highly measurable buffer between yourself and the unvarnished reality of contingency.
Okay, I have to confess something, and I know you listening have probably done this too.
Let's hear it.
You decide you absolutely need to be more mindful.
Right.
So, you spend literally weeks researching the absolutely perfect meditation app.
Of course.
You read endless reviews, you curate the ambient background sounds, you adjust the session durations down to the exact minute, you set up a dedicated little corner in your room, and you still haven't sat in silence for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Not once. And the immediate reaction is to just feel like a total failure for not having the discipline.
But you didn't fail.
I didn't.
No. Psychoanalytically speaking, you succeeded brilliantly. This is a highly successful defense mechanism. Postponement is the actual goal of the psyche in this scenario.
Wait, really?
Yes. You didn't fail to implement a hack. You flawlessly executed a strategy of avoidance disguised as ambition.
Oh, man.
By constantly preparing to meditate, you successfully delayed the very encounter you claimed to seek. Because implementation ends the cycle of perceived safety. Sitting in silence means facing your own unfiltered mind, which is exactly the chaotic experience your psyche was desperately trying to protect you from.
That is unsettling. So if my apps and my meticulously crafted morning routines are all just these defense mechanisms, what exactly am I defending myself against? Like, we've talked about the chaos of a blank page or a noisy mind, but let's dig deeper into the actual foundation here. What is sitting at the repressed core of all this optimization?
This raises a huge question, and it brings us to the ultimate repression, our finitude.
Our finitude, like death.
Exactly. Freud wrote extensively about the death drive, or thanatos. It's often misunderstood as a conscious desire for self-destruction, but it's actually more accurately the pull toward inertia, the desire to return to an inorganic state where there is zero tension and zero struggle.
Okay.
The life-hacking impulse has a really fascinating paradoxical relationship with this. On the surface, hacking is a furious assertion of life, right? Grow, optimize, compound, live to be 120.
Yeah, entirely.
But beneath that frantic activity is an unconscious, desperate negotiation with mortality.
Wait, if thanatos is the pull toward inertia, why is the optimization culture so frantic? By treating life as this highly measurable, tweakable system, it seems like we're actively fighting inertia. We're essentially creating a fantasy where death and aging are just variables that we can systematically optimize away if we just acquire the right data.
And that's the fantasy. We repress the brute fact that the body ages despite perfect sleep hygiene, that time slips through our fingers no matter how many Pomodoro timers we set. The life hacker isn't actually avoiding work. They are avoiding the terrifying truth that all work ends.
Oh, wow.
If we sleep perfectly, eat perfectly, move perfectly, the subconscious fantasy is that maybe, just maybe, we can hack our way out of finitude itself. We are building a magnificent, data-driven cathedral of optimization right on the absolute edge of an abyss. And we're trying to convince ourselves that the architecture itself is a solution to the abyss.
Okay, so consider the person who has done everything right.
Yeah.
Like the person who has implemented all the sleep hacks, who diligently tracks their heart rate variability to measure their nervous system's recovery,
Right.
who optimizes every single variable, but they still wake up at 3 a.m. with this heavy, nameless dread that absolutely no app can diagnose.
Yeah.
If they've solved all the technical problems, why is the system failing them?
Because the system isn't failing. The system is working perfectly to manage technical problems. But that 3 a.m. dread, that is not a technical malfunction. It is an existential condition.
Right.
And here is the crucial difference. Technical problems have solutions, but existential dilemmas demand surrender.
Surrender.
Yes. When you treat your soul like a buggy operating system, you are using the wrong tools entirely. We are essentially that child who develops an elaborate, rigid bedtime ritual to ward off the terror of the dark.
Just checking under the bed over and over.
Exactly. The child isn't foolish, they're just using the only tools they have to manage an overwhelming reality. We are that exact same child, just grown up, armed with venture capital and APIs, application programming interfaces, to plug all our tracking software together, and we are still trying to ritualize our way out of vulnerability. The nightlight just became the Aura ring.
Okay, hold on. Equating an Aura ring to a child's nightlight is going to deeply offend a lot of tech enthusiasts listening right now.
I know.
Because, a nightlight is a literal placebo. An Aura ring provides actual, actionable biometric data about your body temperature and your resting heart rate. How do you reconcile that?
Because the data itself functions as the placebo.
What do you mean?
Yes, the metrics are biologically real, but the psychological function of obsessively monitoring them is to create a false sense of control over an inherently uncontrollable reality. You are using real data to feed a fantasy.
Wait, so if I'm understanding this, if the system is fundamentally built on a flaw, like trying to solve the human condition with productivity software, why do we stay trapped in the loop? The platform's algorithm is essentially mirroring my own Freudian repetition compulsion, isn't it?
Exactly.
The app isn't breaking my focus, it's just monetizing my subconscious desire to avoid the work in the first place.
You've just beautifully described the algorithmic uncanny. Let's say you want to focus, right? So you watch a video on deep work.
Classic move.
But the algorithm doesn't then leave you alone to do the work. It immediately feeds you a video on meta-optimization. Suddenly, you're watching videos on how to build systems to maintain your focus systems.
Yeah, the endless rabbit hole.
The platform mirrors your psyche's own structure. Resistance breeds more resistance. In the attention economy, your anxiety isn't a bug. Your anxiety is the business model.
Wow.
Implementation would mean you put the phone down and do the work. Postponement means you keep watching, keep scrolling, keep buying.
We see this so glaringly in dating apps too. Like you're translating Eros, the completely chaotic, unpredictable, and often terrifying force of human desire, into this clean, frictionless conversion funnel.
Dating apps are the absolute perfect theater for this. You spend hours optimizing your profile, carefully selecting photos that signal, authentic spontaneity.
Authentic spontaneity.
You are literally A/B testing intimacy. And when you finally match, you don't immediately open up. You analyze their profile, you calculate the exact timing of your responses for maximum perceived value.
And the result of that is connection without risk, which, if we're being completely honest, isn't connection at all. It's just a transaction. You're systematically avoiding the unoptimizable reality of another human being.
Exactly.
It makes me think of this incredible paradox we're living in today. We're totally obsessed with consuming wisdom. We'll read Marcus Aurelius or Seneca on a Kindle, or we'll listen to a deep dive about Buddhist detachment, all while our smartwatch violently vibrates to warn us that our heart rate variability is suboptimal.
It is the ultimate irony. We ingest wisdom that demands profound surrender, but we consume it strictly as a product. The wisdom tradition asks you to fundamentally change your relationship to reality and let go of control.
Right.
Hack culture, on the other hand, allows you to just change the layout of your dashboard. One requires you to face the abyss, the other just requires a credit card and an internet connection. It's the psyche's brilliant way of inoculating itself against the very truths it is consuming.
Is reality itself the ultimate resistance then? Like, is the unoptimized moment the actual enemy of the life hacker?
Yes, absolutely. The unoptimized moment, the train you missed, the deeply awkward silence in a conversation, the creative block that just won't lift no matter what protocol you use, that isn't a failure of your system.
It's not.
In Freudian terms, that is the return of the repressed. It is reality breaking through your meticulously constructed waking dream of optimization. And because we are so heavily conditioned, our first impulse is to patch the breach. We say, I need a better hack so I never miss a train again. We treat the very symptom of being alive as a software bug to be eradicated.
Okay, let's pull all of this together because we've gone really deep into the subterranean machinery of our daily habits here. What we're really talking about is finding the courage to face the unhacked morning.
Yes, the unhacked morning.
Imagine waking up tomorrow without the hydration protocol, without the color-coded intention-setting journal, without checking the data tracker to tell you how you supposedly slept. Just waking up to the unmediated, raw fact of being alive.
Which is terrifying for a lot of people.
It is. Your body might ache in a way a tracker can't quantify. A difficult memory might surface that no productivity framework can chart or resolve. That ache, that memory that isn't a failure of your morning routine, that is contact with reality.
And contact is exactly what the hack was designed to prevent, because genuine contact demands a real, vulnerable response, not just management. So here's a psychoanalytic reframe for you listening to take away.
Listen closely to this.
The next time you feel that intense, compulsive urge to optimize, to research a new system, to download yet another productivity app, stop. Recognize that your psyche's alarm system is sounding. You aren't failing. You are actually very close to something important. Ask yourself, what truth about my existence am I so diligently preparing to face that I never actually face it?
That is a heavy question.
What desire or grief or reality feels too heavy to carry without the scaffolding of a system?
The resistance isn't the enemy, it's a message. And I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over today, one that basically flips this entire paradigm on its head. Think about the concept of Wu Wei in Taoist philosophy,
Oh, fascinating.
which loosely translates to effortless action or non-doing. What if the absolute frontier of human optimization isn't doing more, tracking more, or building better barricades, but actively practicing the terrifying art of doing absolutely nothing?
A radical thought.
Tomorrow, try leaving your phone at home for just a 20-minute walk. No deep dives, no step counters, no ambient soundscapes. Just walk. And as you do, notice just how loud your own unhacked mind gets. And ask yourself why you've been running from that noise for so long.